Outside the Box Reviews, we are going to be taking a look at the Friday the 13th Part 6 Jason Lives Jason Voorhees figure. This is a kit-bashed custom figure. The head and mask are by the incredibly talented Ones Customs. The rest of the figure was kind of put together by me out of a variety of parts off of a bunch of different 1/6 loose part websites. So really the main highlight of this video will be the really cool head sculpt, but I'll give a quick tour of the rest of the figure as well, just to show off what I've accomplished. It is still a work in progress. There are a few things that I'm either not happy with or haven't modified the way I want them to be modified yet. So just keep in mind there are some glaring inaccuracies or inadequacies with this figure that are my own doing. So with that being said, let's jump right in and take a closer look. So as usual, the Ones Customs head sculpt is amazing. Part 6 is one of my favorite Jasons, so I was very, very excited to have this sculpt added to my collection. And first off, we have the incredibly weathered, beat up looking mask. This is based more towards the end of the film. It does have the bullet shot wound there at the top of the head. It's very, very weathered. A lot of different colors on there with all kinds of dirt and grime. We do have the silver snaps on the bottom of the mask, and then on the strap we have painted on rivets that are holding it in place. And yeah, I'm wearing gloves today because my hands are pretty messed up and I just don't want to hear it in the comments. I'll probably get comments about how I'm a weirdo for wearing gloves. But whatever. Another great thing about this mask, the way it fits the head, is it really hides the eyes. That was a very key piece with Part 6 Jason. You couldn't really see his eyes through the mask unless you had a James Bond zoom-in effect. So that's really nicely accomplished. The straps are like a leather or a pleather, really nicely done. We have the painted on rivets there in the back holding the extra little bit there that connects all the straps together. And as for the head underneath, take that mask right off. And I'll admit, I often don't have the mask on the figure at all because I love this head sculpt. This thing is just so gross and grimy and dead looking, and I love kind of seeing the evolution of Jason's looks. And I have the Part 7 sculpt from 1, so I have the kind of dried out desiccated corpse, and I have the waterlogged version right next to it on the shelf, which is awesome. But he captured some amazing detail in here. One always brings a really cool style to all of his figures that I just really like. It's why I keep buying from him over and over. Usually things are pretty dead on accurate, but when they're not, I like the stylized twist he gives it. But this thing just is so freaking nasty. We have the exposed teeth up here in the front. You can see all the skin just ripped and weathered away on the sides of it. If we go up a little bit, you can see how deeply recessed that eye is, but there's still some great detail in it. Let's see if I can catch in the light just a little bit better. Yeah, there you can see it. Still a really well painted eye, just all the way back there. We've got some kind of meat hanging there in his dead socket. You can see the bone coming through. Some nice levels of gore here. There's kind of some more pinkish red here around where the flesh is peeling away from his face. But then you have the wounds here, like the Tommy wound and the axe wound from Part 3 that are a little darker looking in there and a little wet looking too, which is great. It just looks really, really cool. Some great wrinkles and texture in the skin. All kinds of like pock marks in it. We have a little bit of skull exposed there on the side. I know I'm zoomed way in on this, but I just want to capture as much detail as I can because I absolutely love it. Just a nasty, nasty, gross dead guy. Exactly what Part 6 Jason's should be. And this sculpt does have the neck attached with it, so we do have some torn up neck bits in there, looking very, very nice. And this has some blue tack attaching it to the neck joint on the body itself. It is fairly posable. Going down to the rest of the body, I'm gonna kind of just go briefly through it because I really don't think it's good enough to warrant much conversation. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is all hodgepodge together from different sources. Some of it doesn't quite fit together right and is going to be upgraded in the future. And I don't honestly remember where I got everything from, so I'll try to bring up what I can. A lot of it was places like Monkey Depot and Black Ops Toys and Toy Anxiety and a lot of those other 1/6 scale storehouses that just buy stuff and part it out, and you can buy all the little bits you want to make your figure. So the main body on this guy is I don't know if it's pronounced DAM or if it's just DAM Toys, Gangster's Kingdom body. It's actually kind of funny because if you take Jason's shirt and open it up, he has some tattoos underneath because it is literally supposed to be like a gangster character. I was doing some research on the Sideshow Freaks board and I saw some people recommending this body. Because those figures are stylized, it's a little bulkier than your standard 1/6 body for a similar height. So it does kind of give Jason a little more of that heft that fits the character. The shirt that's on Jason is really old. I bought it for my old Part 4 Jason. It's crudely dyed with paints rather than actual dye. I did try to dye it green, and it just is made out of a material that just won't take the dye at all. It's some kind of synthetic that just, it doesn't work with. I have yet to find a green shirt that I'm really happy with that will fit this character, so right now I'm just left with this. The nice part is where it failed for Part 4 and just being this kind of uneven color, it works a little bit for Part 6 since he's been in the ground for a bit, and it does kind of have some lighter spots on it that kind of work as weathering, but like I said, not totally happy with this in the least. The belt was kind of fun to do. Once again, still working on it. It's just like a standard web belt, I think, from Monkey Depot. It actually does clip together. I need to check some of the coloration and see if I need to paint any of the little buckles on it or anything. Here on the side, I found a machete sheath, which I think is also the wrong color. I believe it is a darker color in the film, but I haven't checked references in a while, so I could be wrong. But I think it has a good look to it overall. It clips over top of the belt. I actually have it going through some of these little holes throughout the web belt. Does not hold the giant Mezco machete that I've been posing him with, but I think once I get a more reasonable machete or make a more reasonable machete, it'll work out alright. Coming back around the front is a piece that I haven't actually finished or worked on all that much yet. I have a little ammo pouch that I'm going to convert into his dart pouch. After doing some research into what the dart pouch looked like, this was very similar, and it's designed to go on a belt like this. So I need to do some tweaking to get it to look the way it needs to, and I need to make the darts somehow. I have yet to figure that out yet, but eventually that will be looking more accurate to the film. And then if I move his hand out of the way there, we do have a little hunting knife there on the side. I believe it's off of the Hot Toys Dutch figure, if I remember right. I could be wrong about that. I bought it off eBay a while back, and it just seemed to be the closest looking to the actual movie used knife. I want to see if I can get it off here without messing him up too badly. So, pretty standard little hunting knife there, but it looked close enough to Jason's knife. I don't think it's ever something I'd really have him posed with anyway, so it'll just kind of live its life here in the sheath. The sheath was another eBay find. It's decently similar, I think, to the one from the film. The only thing it doesn't have is the little whetstone pocket out here on the outside, so I'm trying to figure out a way to adhere that to this without having it just come off because it is kind of a pliable pleather material. I think I might try to make something just out of some black craft foam just to give it the right feeling and seal it up and weather it and put it on there with some contact cement. And that way it'll have enough flexibility not to just rip off, but I'm not entirely sure if that's how I want to do it. And obviously all this stuff around his waist, I have not really weathered or anything just because it's a work in progress. One important thing to me for this version of Jason was to give him actual gloves. A lot of people have this figure with sculpted hands, and obviously that's completely fair, but to me, I just wanted real gloves on this version of Jason. I had bought these gloves for a different project a long time ago, and they just so happened to be similar enough to the ones he wears in the film that I thought they would work out well. So these are actually on top of some bendy hands. So you actually take the hand, you could straighten out the fingers, you could bend them back up. I don't want to do it too much just because it's a wire in there I think will eventually give out, but I'm pretty happy with the fact that I could actually have a Jason with real material gloves on him. And I think this strap needs to go away. I don't think that strap's on the actual movie prop, but once again, I need to do my research and get everything just right. Going further down the figure, we have the pants. The pants are kind of funny because they are the Sideshow Part 3 Jason that recently came out. The same pants, and I just weathered them up a lot. The bottoms are all torn up. I had a lot of different stains and dirt in there to make it look like he's been in the ground. Probably still needs a little more weathering as well, but I just found it funny that the color of the pants on the Sideshow figure never really looked right, but then I put him on a Part 6 figure. There was a different color of pants, and it actually fit much better than it did even with the Part 3, at least in my eye. And then down here at the very bottom are some pretty inaccurate boots. They're kind of close to what he wears in the movie. These are also DAM, Damn Toys, Gangster Kingdom boots. Off of another figure, they were bright orange, which you can actually kind of see coming out of the paint there. I need to touch that up a bit. But I painted them black to look more like the movie, and the plus side with these is they popped right on to the legs of this figure, and I didn't have to buy feet and then buy other boots to go over top of it. And I think they work well enough. The pattern on here doesn't quite match up with what's in the film, but they're decently close for my purposes here. I have other things I'd rather make more accurate before I worry about the boots. So that is the current state, at least, of my Part 6 Jason Voorhees figure. Really, I just wanted to do this video to show off the head sculpt because I was itching to do a review of a Once Customs figure, and I don't have anything really complete at the moment. I do have the finishing touches for another Once Customs head sculpt incoming that are going to be really fun to look at, but I just really wanted to visit this. I haven't been in the mood to shoot reviews much lately, or videos in general, to be honest, but the mood struck me to do this one, and I figured I might as well capitalize on it. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. That's where I'm most active these days. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, so you can be aware of one of my random, sporadic uploads comes up onto the internet. And until next time, this has been our Outside the Box Reviews. You're all doomed.